So you want to be a dungeon master?
That's great. We're here to help. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Justin. This week, we're discussing the subclasses of the Sorcerer NOT, covered in the 2014 Player's Handbook. There's 6 sorceress origins to celebrate, some savoring the shadows, some seeking satisfaction and sacrifice. From Xanathars to Tashas to the fantastical world of Krynn and Dragonlance, will these sorcerer subclasses sing sweetly or simply scare our sensibilities? That's enough of that. Let's get into it. But first, let's talk homebrew.
Let's do it. Homebrew, our favorite.
We love it. Love to see it. Once again, I think we've done this in the past, but let's. The limiter on this sorcerer subclass homebrew is using one of our actual play settings. So for the uninitiated, Sphinx City, modern and magical fantasy setting, almost like New York City, but with spells and magic. Mythos University, Greek mythology at college. Public domains, storybook characters, and all that shit. What lies in the darkness, freaking evil residents and such. And our newest, that will be out by the time this comes out, the first episode at least, I believe, Mall Madness 99, 1999, New Jersey Mall, Eldritch Horrors. Check the mall out on our YouTube, Twitch. Podcast has a bunch of episodes, obviously. I'm sure you've been seeing them pop up, but check it out. Anyway, Sorcerer Subclasses. Anything come to mind, Taylor?
I've been racking my brain on this one, but I think there's 2 different ways I could go with this. One would be for Sphinx City, but it would also kind of work for What Lies in the Darkness. And I feel like there's already a subclass that's very close to this, but some kind of an undead sorcerer type of dude, but more of the. I honestly we just finished doing What Lies in the Darkness, so that's where my brain's at right now. But maybe a genetically modified sorcerer, so
a mutant.
It's all gross and mutanty powers and stuff, kind of I would consider in the actual Resident Evil movies, Alice to be something along those lines.
Very cool.
Because she was genetically modified. She gets telekinesis and these weird mind powers that let her just kind of melt people's brains.
Interesting.
But it would be almost like a combination sorcerer fighter, if that makes sense.
Okay. Because
a lot of the modifications that she gets also makes her just really fast and flexible.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So, and her brain moves faster than everybody else's, basically. And so she's able to fight a lot faster than everybody else. So maybe give it some kind of maybe a low grade, just mechanically at a certain level, you get the haste spell for free or something like that.
Yeah.
And you can only cast it on yourself.
Right. Very cool. Interesting. I like that. Okay. I am thinking, I have 2, really. One of them is based on the public domains, and it's a Sorcerer of Ink. It's, if you have listened to public domains, then you get it right away. But if not, I don't want to spoil anything too crazy for the public domains. 6 episodes. Go check it out because it's crazy. But, questions of reality and changing fate or destiny and altering it, and the idea of using the visual medium of ink and erasing and stuff like that to sort of play with those ideas. I think that could be really cool. A sorcerer that's tied into fate a little bit.
Yeah.
Could be cool.
Fate touched.
Yeah, I think that would be really sick. And then also with Mall Madness 99, so new. And at the time of playing this, we haven't even gotten into it really yet. But
I'm excited.
Oh, it's going to be a blast. It's going to be so fun. But maybe playing on, I know that there's Aberrant Mind, which we're going to go over. It's alphabetical, so it's the first one. But something a little bit in that mindset, but maybe doing it in a different way somehow. Aberrant Mind seems to focus more on psionic stuff, and I want to dip into Eldritch Horror in a different way. But also, I mean, it's 1999.
Yeah, so I actually had a thought on this one, like just now as we started recording for Mall Madness.
Yeah.
But a movie sorcerer. So you basically gain the ability to you're watching a movie and you see something really cool happen in a movie, and this would be all 90s movies. You'd pick a set of 90s movies where your spells would come from, but stuff like Stop Time or something like that could be like the Matrix going into the fucking weird the 360 camera thing, or something along those lines where it's movie magic.
That's a really cool idea.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that could be really, really cool.
Oh man, is it too late to change my character?
We are not allowing a full homebrew in this game. Not when we're recording this on a Sunday and session 1 is Thursday, so absolutely not.
Yeah.
But I like the idea. That's definitely something we could work into it.
It would work for Sphinx City too. Oh
yeah, no doubt. Any modern campaign where movies exist. But I do like that idea a lot. And I also like the idea of sorcerers are charisma based. You could I don't know, maybe the sorcerer gets a chance to perform in a way that the bard normally does.
Yeah.
And so you could play with 90s music as well as movies, obviously. But a lot of interesting pop culture things. Even just that, dude.
Yeah,
that's a bard idea.
A genre.
The College of Boy Band.
Yeah.
That's a bard subclass right there, dude. Fucking 14th level. I have my new ability, 98 degrees. Hell yeah. That's a banger.
Too funny. That's a good one. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones.
All
right, but we got a lot to cover in the sorcerers today.
You could also do Y2K.
Like all of these.
Moving on.
Yeah, Y2K sorcerer. Yep.
That'd be crazy.
Oh no, your brain doesn't know the difference between 99 and 1999.
Yeah, maybe it's like a form of technomancy, like the idea of just controlling technology through this virus software kind of thing you can download into. Sick. Okay. Yeah, let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
What is there? 6 to cover.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. Hey gang, we wanted to talk to you about something pretty important real quick. See, we have some really cool ideas for the future, but we need your help. You can do that by supporting us through our Patreon. At the lowest tier, you get early access to podcast episodes, access to episodes of Action Surge, our post-session table talk show, and entry into a private channel on our Discord server. At the next tier, you can get access to Bonus Action, our bonus content podcast where we talk about a huge variety of D&D and TTRPG related things, like Multi-Class Mystery Mashup, where we get 2 random classes and have to build a character, or Monster Matchmaker, where we go over our favorite monsters at each CR level, or recaps of our home campaign, plus so much more. Joining the Patreon helps us continue to grow and put out content that gets better and better as we learn, improve, and try new things. So, check out the link in the description to join the gang today. First up, we have the Aberrant Mind. So, this sorcerer subclass, you are receiving your powers from a deep internal connection with this alien other sort of aberration that D&D plays with sometimes. So sort of your Cthulhu's, your great old ones, your time travelers, or dimension walkers or some shit.
The Lovecraftian, if you perceive them, your mind breaks type of creatures.
Kind of, yeah, that sort of vibe. Although maybe there's different reasons in your game, in your setting and stuff like that. But that's the original vibe of this. So at first level, you're going to get your psionic spells. This whole subclass is going to deal a lot with psionics. So you're going to get your psionic spells. These are kind of like domain spells, so they're always prepared and they count as sorcerer spells for you. At first level, you get Arms of Hadar, Dissonant Whispers, and Mind Sliver the cantrip. Very nice to get a cantrip for free. 3rd level, calm emotions, detect thoughts. That makes a fuck ton of sense considering what you can do. 5th level, Hunger of Hadar and Sending. Sending makes a ton of sense. A lot of these are playing. They also make a ton of sense because on one side you're getting the Eldritch side, which with Arms of Hadar, Hunger of Hadar. At 7th level you get Evard's Black Tentacles and Summon Aberration. So you're getting a lot of these like Eldritch Horror ideas, but then with Detect Thoughts and Mind Sliver, it's playing into that other side of like psychic abilities and shit. At 9th level, last but not least, you get Rary's Telepathic Bond and Telekinesis.
Okay.
Potentially very useful.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, a lot of great spells. I love a subclass for sorcerers that is going to give them spells that are always prepared, because sorcerers, in 2014 rules at least, they are in my opinion, they get like very few spells in terms of how many spells you know. Like even at 20th level, you're only allowed to know 15 spells. It's like some of the least in the game. Like warlocks have the least subclasses, but they even can learn more spells than that at least.
Right.
It's crazy. So subclasses like this one that give you that extra little power, I fucking love that. So that's one 1st level thing. You also get telepathic speech. So now as a bonus action, you can choose a creature within 30 feet that you can see, and you can speak telepathically with that creature up to a number of miles equal to your charisma modifier. So you're a sorcerer, you figure your charisma at level 1, it's got to be a 3 at least, right? So that's 3 miles. That's pretty intense. You do have to share a language, and this ability lasts a number of minutes equal to your sorcerer level, and it ends early if you are incapacitated or die, or if you use it again. But it doesn't have a like number of uses or anything. You just do this.
Okay. Does it say anything about willing creature here, or would it be something that you could maybe use to fuck with people's minds from a distance?
No, it just says between your mind and the mind of another.
Okay. Interesting. Are they aware of it?
I don't think it doesn't necessarily say that they, because I think it's obviously meant for like first and foremost to like talk to allies and like that kind of stuff. But so they don't go into like great detail of like what happens when you just are bullshitting with people.
Right.
Because, you know, it's D&D. You can't write for every possibility.
Right.
Sometimes it's just assumed that people aren't going to totally break the system.
Oh, but you could break it so bad.
Oh, for sure.
You could break it.
It just comes
so
down
bad
to
with this.
It comes down to, is the rest of the table having fun?
Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
Because if it's like every 2 seconds where people are like, somebody would be,
oh no, but I'm going
to talk into their head and tell them this. And it's like, okay, well, first of all, it's not going to work all the time. Some people are going to be savvy to it. But technically, yes, you could do this and talk in people's heads.
Oh my God.
And then you confusion.
Mix it with that one, I think it's a bard subclass or a rogue subclass where you can become a person after you watch them for a minute. Then you can talk to them in their own voice.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, that would be crazy. Yep. There's definitely ways.
Anyway, that's my 2 cents on that ability.
With sorcerers, you're going to get some 1st level stuff right off the bat, then 6th level, 14th, and finally 18th. So those are the 1st level things. 6th level, we get psionic sorcery. Whenever you cast one of your psionic spells from the list above, you can use your normal spell slots, or you can spend sorcery points equal to the spell's level to cast the spell. If you do that, there's no verbal or somatic components or material components unless they are consumed by the spell. So it's like subtle spell, essentially. You're still using, obviously sorcery points to do this, but it's still very cool. I mean, it's dope as hell. I mean, you're not using spell slots, you're using sorcery points to cast the spells, and then in addition, there's no counter spell, there's no recognition that you're casting a spell. It's just kind of happening. And with these psionic spells that you get, you're either going to be freaking people the fuck out with Arms of Hadar and Hunger of Hadar because you're just casting it willy-nilly and no one's seeing you cast it and just this bunch of tentacle arms pop up. Or you're doing psychic spells where you're like calming people's emotions or detecting thoughts.
Detect thoughts for free and invisibly.
For free, telekinesis, summon aberration, just summoning a creature in the middle of a scene. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. So that's 6th level. And that's not even all. Because you get that, and then psychic defenses. So now you have resistance to psychic damage, and you have advantage on saves against being charmed or frightened.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's great. Psychic damage doesn't come up a ton unless the campaign is kind of specific, but it's still always good to have resistance, never a bad thing, and the advantage on saves against charmed or frightening is huge. That's dope as hell.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So then 14th level, we get Revelation in Flesh. Crazy. Take a bonus action, spend 1 or more sorcery points to transform your body for 10 minutes. Wow. So you can spend a minimum of 1. You can spend up to, I believe it's 4. Because with each extra point that you spend, you can get an additional feature or benefit from this other form. So there's 4 to essentially choose from. You can see invisible.
And depending on how many you want, that's how many sorcery.
Yeah, if you're like, I only need to see the invisible creatures, then you can just use that one.
Okay.
But if you're like, shit, I'm going all in, you can just burn 4 and get everything. You can see invisible creatures within 60 feet if they're not behind total cover. That's 1. Second one, gain fly speed equal to your walk speed and including a hover. 3, gain swim speed equal to 2 times your walk speed and be able to breathe underwater. That's number 3.
Nice.
Number 4, you and everything you're wearing or carrying become slimy and pliable. Justin, what does that mean? Don't worry, bud. I'm still with you. You can move. You turn into flubber because you can move through spaces as narrow as 1 inch, and you spend 5 feet of movement to escape from non-magical restraints and being grappled.
And you turn into a squid.
Yeah, you're the senator from X-Men.
Yeah, gross. That's such a gross.
It's gross.
Thing.
It's so fun. Roleplay wise, it would be so fun. Yeah, because it's gross. So yeah, these are just cool little transformations that your body does, because you're connected to this Eldritch Horror and stuff, and now you can like willingly transform your body to be able to do these superhuman things. And you could do a bunch of them at the same time. Most of the time, are you going to need a swim speed and a fly speed at the same time? Probably not, but you never know. You never know. You could go full pelican with it. Go full pelican.
Yeah.
18th level. 18th level, you get Warping Implosion. Take an action, teleport to a space within 120 feet that you can see. After you disappear, each creature within 30 feet of you, so like in the spot that you just came from. So think of like Thunderstep would be a great example of this. It just logistically how it works. After you disappear, each creature within 30 feet of you, a huge radius, has to make a strength save against your spell save DC. On a failure, they take 3d10 force damage and are pulled towards the space you left as close as possible. On a success, they take half damage and are not pulled. You can do this ability once per long rest or 5 sorcery points.
This would be devastating with Misty Step.
It absolutely would, because you could jump into the middle of
a group of people, group them all together, do your little implosion thing, group them all together, and then ultimately sets up the wombo combo for like a fireball or a shatter or something along those lines.
I was also thinking
all squished together. Yeah,
you could also just like jump off a cliff.
Yeah, true, very true.
And try literally jump off a cliff, set this off, teleport, and then it pulls everybody off the cliff potentially. There's a hero in Overwatch who had an ability like this. I think they took it away. They changed it because it was a little OP. Because any map that had a ledge, it was like, you're fucked.
Oh, yeah.
But it was like...
That's my favorite thing.
One of those things where you like shoot this little globule of... It just looked like flubber, really. Like a little thing. And then when you re-click the trigger again, it pulls things towards like a little gravity well. It was incredible.
Okay.
Which is kind of what this is, except you're using yourself. And you get a cool 120 teleport.
120 feet. Yeah.
It's dope as hell. Yeah, that's solid.
Love that.
That's the aberrant.
Love that.
The
this whole
aberrant
subclass is looks like a lot of fun. The whole thing is fun. Can I think I said it already, but can I change?
Absolutely not.
I'm kidding.
Absolutely
okay.
not.
Yeah. So moving on from the aberrant mind, the next one we have is the clockwork soul. This is kind of like the main motif is order. It stems from the mechanic realm, like is the realm of Mechanus or something like it, where everything's all kind of made of gears and cogs, and it's all about like clocks and stuff, and you have to have that exact order for everything to be working right. So in that vein, as far as your clockwork spells that you get, first level, we're looking at alarm and protection from evil and good. At third level, you get aid and lesser restoration. At fifth level, you get dispel magic, protection from energy. Seventh level, freedom of movement, summon construct. And then ninth level, you get greater restoration and wall of force. Very cool spells, all of them.
Yeah, helpful.
Very, yeah. Especially, dispel magic is awesome. Greater restoration is awesome. Wall of force is game breaking.
Yeah, they're all solid.
Summon construct, yeah.
You're fixing shit.
And so, kind of in that same vein of maintaining order, the ability that you get at first level is the restore balance feat. It costs a reaction, and then if it's any creature within 60 feet of you, if it's about to make a roll with either advantage or disadvantage, you can use your reaction and make it a flat roll. Get rid of the advantage or disadvantage. And you can do this up to a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus per long rest.
I think this is really cool.
I do too. Now, would this get rid of a rogue's sneak attack, would you say?
Oh, it depends.
Like if the only reason they have, say they're hiding and they only have sneak attack because it's got advantage when that pops out and does its thing.
Yeah, I would say so.
Well, yeah, so it would have to be with some way other than hide, because it says a creature you can see within 60 feet.
True. Yeah, absolutely.
But other than that,
if their stealth check was higher than your passive perception, then I wouldn't let you use your reaction to do it for that specific thing. But if there was something else that was giving you the advantage, like a guiding bolt, or some shit,
Gotcha.
And then you had advantage, but you didn't have an ally. There was no other backup way to get sneak attack, and it was only because of the guiding bolt. Then I'd be a little bit of a dick about it. And I'd be like, technically, you don't get sneak attack now.
You don't have advantage anymore, so no sneak attack. All right, cool. Yeah, that's kind of where I was at with it, too. I just wanted to get the words out there,
Yeah, no, it's huge. Because you could even use it. You could, bro, because it's literally, correct me if I'm wrong, it's just a D20 roll.
Yes.
Right?
So it doesn't specify skill checks or saving throws or anything like that.
Insane. Because that also would apply to, like when monsters have magic resistance.
Yeah, that is huge.
It's crazy. Cool.
Hell yeah. Moving on to 6th level, we get the Bastion of Law feature. It's an action, and you can spend 1 to 5 sorcery points to create a ward around you or another creature. This ward is going to last until you take a long rest or you use this feature again. The ward is a number of D8s per sorcery point spent, so up to a total of 5d8, and whoever has the ward on them can, when they take damage, spend a number of those dice to reduce the damage. So like they would take a hit, you'd roll, okay, I'm going to use 2 of the dice, you'll roll the 2d8s, and then you reduce the damage by that much.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah,
it's very handy for long battles.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a cool way to give a little buffer.
And the fact that it's off of sorcery points makes it pretty handy, because you can, obviously in the middle of a fight, be able to recharge those. provided you have the spell slots to do it. And at 6th level, you're slinging around a few spells.
Yeah.
Moving on to our 14th level feature, you get the Trance of Order. It's a bonus action to enter like a trance-like state of order for 1 minute. During that time, attack rolls against you can't benefit from advantage. And also, whenever you make an attack roll, an ability check, or a saving throw, you can treat a roll of 9 or lower as a 10.
Woo!
That's massive. Once you use it, it's you can't do it again until a long rest, or you can spend 5 sorcery points to do it.
Worth it.
That is what is that? What is that rogue ability?
Reliable talent.
Reliable talent on attack rolls for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
And saving throws and ability checks for a minute.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's so
Yeah.
powerful. It's so fucking powerful.
It's so strong.
So fucking strong. Holy shit, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to change your whole spell list to base it around having attack rolls.
Mhm.
What is the fucking point of
Making them roll at that point?
of making them roll when you got guaranteed hits?
Yeah.
Practically.
Because I mean, at 14th level, we're talking you got a +9, so you're doing a 19 or a 20 at the base.
Jesus.
Yeah. Anyway, final thing at level 18, you are able to basically pull these spirits from the other plane to maintain order in an area around you. In the lore, they're the little Modron robot things, little robot constructs from Mechanus, which are, if you look in the monster manual, they're kind of really cute. I love them. So you get basically you'll spend an action, and in a 30-foot cube around you, these spirits of Modrons or constructs, you can decide what they look like, come around you. They're intangible and invulnerable. Nothing can really attack. It's just basically an aura, and all of these things happen, and then it disappears. The spirits restore up to 100 hit points, divided however you want among any number of creatures within that 30-foot cube. Any damaged objects that are entirely in the cube are repaired instantly. And then every spell of 6th or lower ends on the creatures and objects of your choice within the cube.
That's bonkers, that last part.
Mass dispel magic.
Mm-hmm.
And at 6th level, dispel magic.
Yeah.
And then once
targets.
you do it...
Yeah, that's
mm-hmm,
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's your choice.
You do it once per... Right. So you don't have... If you've got bad guys in there...
Yeah.
Or something you don't want dispelled in there, you just choose not to. And then it's once per long rest, or you can do 7 sorcery points and do it again. Crazy. Because at 18, you've got 18 sorcery points.
Yeah. That's really, really powerful. Yeah, this clockwork one is no joke.
I love it. Honestly, that the level 14 thing for the reliable talent and the Bastion of Law thing with the ward that you can throw around everybody.
Yeah.
Broken. The whole thing's broken.
Oof.
I love it.
Well, the ward, at least you're going to be burning through sorcery points if you're trying to hit multiple people.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, not that it's not good. It's just, it's not as broken.
Right.
Trance of Order is that's wild. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's really, really good. Okay. Love it.
Yep. So that's the Clockwork Soul.
Okay. Dang. Well, next up, we got another soul. This one's the Divine Soul. Pretty much, you get your magic from divine shit. It's you know what I mean? You're a sorcerer cleric. It's really cool. I like it a lot. Just based on sort of the basics. The biggest downside is that this was made during Xanathar's. So if it was like updated to be more similar to the Tasha's one, it would be way better. Right. I'll give you the first example. Divine magic. Your link to the divine gives you some extra spells and stuff like that. But here's the thing. You can choose, you learn these extra spells. So unlike the last two where you got like domain spells, this one is you get one extra spell based on your like alignment essentially. So you get to choose between, if you're good aligned, you get cure wounds, evil, inflict wounds, law, bless, chaos, bane, neutral, protection from evil and good. So you just get that one extra spell. So that kind of is just like a bummer, you know? It's just like, oh man, I really wish I got the other ones. Now, on the other hand, what I will say is they've done something really, really interesting with this, because at first level with this divine magic feat, you get to choose when you're choosing leveled spells, so 1st through 9th, you can choose them from the sorcerer spell list. But with this subclass, you can also just choose them from the cleric spell list.
Wild.
So it just gives you access to a completely different class's spells.
That's amazing.
It's dope as hell.
Because, honestly, those two, as a sorcerer cleric main, those two spell lists really, really merge together real nicely.
Yeah, it's very fucking cool.
They fill in the gaps in each of the two the two different classes, put them together, and like you've got a whole package now as far as spells.
Yeah, it's very cool. And they count as sorcerer spells for you. So you don't have to worry about what a sorcerer cleric multiclass has to worry about.
Right.
Yeah, just incredibly powerful. Then you also get favored by the gods. If you fail a save or miss an attack roll, you can roll 2d4 and add it to the total. You get 1 use of that per short or long rest. Just a
nice
little tiny bump if you need it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
6th level, you're going to get empowered healing. Whenever you or an ally within 5 feet of you rolls dice to determine hit points healed by a spell, spend 1 sorcery point and re-roll any number of those dice. So really just playing into the idea that divine equals good equals healing, that kind of shit. This is where this subclass kind of leads. And it also plays with the idea that sometimes you have to roll for healing and sometimes you roll terrible and it sucks. Now you can fix that. So that's nice.
Right.
You can only do this once per turn. So you can't necessarily like do it if a ton of healing is going around. But still really helpful. But within 5 feet of you does mean that like hopefully you have taken some healing spells, because that's when this is going to come up most often. At 14th level, we're getting angelic form.
Nice.
So now we get a bonus action to grow some spectral wings and a fly speed of 30 feet, which last until incapacitated, death, or dismissed as a bonus action. So just getting some angel wings. You
always have wings.
You just always have wings that you can turn on and off.
You just wake up. I want wings now. I want wings every day, forever, and then just walk around the wings all the time. That's what I would do.
I guess it would depend.
I never don't want a fly speed.
Oh, true. Yeah. Well,
you know,
if I'm indoors, I'm fine. But I hear you. So moving along, the Divine Soul, 18th level, we get Unearthly Recovery. Now, when you have less than half of your hit points, which as a sorcerer, if you've made it all the way to 18th level, it's not very high. But when you have less than half of your hit points, you can take a bonus action and you regain hit points equal to half of your maximum. And you can do that once per long rest.
Wow.
Yeah. So just as a bonus action, you can just heal yourself half of your maximum, whatever that is, which is crazy.
I got knocked down to 49%. Boop. Health bar's full, or mostly full now.
Pretty much. Yeah. This
crazy
it's funny because as a DM, always being against the players in a fun way, of course. But when I read this, all I think about is using certain types of undead that like reduce your hit point maximum.
Right.
To be like, yeah, you regain half your hit point maximum, but it's less hit point maximum than it was 2 seconds ago. But yeah, that's the Divine Soul, pretty much just a cleric sorcerer. It's very, very cool. There's so many cool aspects of it. It opens up some really interesting opportunities. And also, like, there's, like, a level of world building built behind this. This idea of, like, you have clerics and then you have Divine Soul sorcerers, like, people who the gods, like, chosen from birth and have been granting powers without necessarily the worship. Maybe this character worships the god that has given them powers or divine source. Maybe they don't. So there's like so many interesting things you could do with this. I do feel like there's one or two abilities that I wish were like just cranked up slightly, but for the most part, it's dope as hell.
Yeah, I like it. Like I said, cleric and sorcerer is like peanut butter and jelly. They work so good together. But yeah, moving on to the next one, we have lunar sorcery. This one basically is all obviously revolving around the moon.
Big time.
As a result, you get something interesting, kind of like the last one where you chose a alignment and got a spell or whatever. This, every time you do a long rest, you choose a phase of the moon. Basically, you got the full moon, the new moon, and the crescent moon, and you get different spells depending on which moon phase you choose. And you can, like I said, you can change this every time you do a long rest. For the full moon, you're going to get shield, lesser rest at first level, third level, lesser restoration, fifth, dispel magic, seventh, death ward, and ninth, Rary's telepathic bond. If you go with new moon, which is basically no moon, or rather the dark side of the moon, first level you get ray of sickness, third level blindness and deafness, fifth level vampiric touch, seventh level confusion, and ninth level hold monster. Great spells. And then or you can choose the crescent moon, which is kind of that mid-range, like changing. At first level you get color spray. At third level you get alter self. At fifth level you get phantom steed. At seventh level you get hallucinatory terrain. And ninth level you get mislead.
Dope.
Yeah. Now with this, you can cast one of the first level spells depending on your phase. You can cast the first level spell one time without using a spell slot per long rest. All the other ones are going to cost the same, but the first level spell you can do one time per long rest for free.
I like that.
I do too. I really like that too. Give me free shield all day. I would never switch off a full moon. That's why I wouldn't use this class, because I would never switch off a full moon.
Well, there's like some cool things later on that make it worth switching. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Also at first level you get Moonfire, which lets you learn the Sacred Flame cantrip, and you can target 2 creatures with it if they're within 5 feet of each other.
Dope. I mean, the word Moonfire is the coolest thing I've ever heard. It sounds incredible.
So yeah, that's all your first level stuff. Going on to 6th level, you get the Lunar Boons. This is where you get an enhanced effect based on whatever phase you're in. The way that it kind of works is, depending on which phase you're in, you get 2 schools of magic that your meta magic applies to a little bit differently. For full moon, it's abjuration and divination spells. For new moon, it's enchantment and necromancy spells. And then for crescent moon, it's illusion and transmutation spells. Whenever you do a meta magic for a spell corresponding to your moon phase, you can reduce the sorcery points that you spend on it to 1, or by 1, to a minimum of 0. And you can do that a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus per long rest. So if you're in full moon and you want to cast a lesser restoration, just say quickened for just ease, that's normally 2 meta magic points or 2 sorcery points. You can use this feature and it'll be one sorcery point.
It's incredible. It's so fucking good. Because the minimum of 0 changes it.
Right. It really does.
Because there's going to be many that there are sorcery straight up that 0. Are only costs 1. Right. Where you're not even spending them and you're doing cool things. It's so cool. And the obviously you're about to get into the next part of the 6th level thing, which is going to make this even crazier. Because it's not. Correct me. I don't think that it's not the way that if we go back to like Aberrant Mind, psionic sorcery, when you cast a psionic spell from the list above. So you're using those like quote unquote domain spells. And those are the ones that get the extra little umph from sorcery points and stuff. But with the lunar sorcery, with these lunar boons, it's not illusion and transmutation from the list above.
Right. It's just any of them.
It's any that you have prepared, which is just wild. Again, sorcerers don't get to prepare a ton of spells, but still incredible.
But still, it is great. It is really great.
Yeah.
But yeah, also at 6th level, you gain control over your lunar phase, and as a bonus action, you can spend a sorcery point to change your phase for a different one.
Dope.
So you can now cast one 1st level spell from each phase of the lunar table once without expending a spell slot, as long as your current phase is the right phase for that spell. And once you do that, you can't do it again until you do a long rest.
Yeah, so it would cost a lot of sorcery points, but you could get a free use of shield by using, you know what I mean? Free use of shield.
Yeah.
Then sorcery point, switch to new moon, free use of ray of sickness, switch to crescent moon, new free use of color.
Free use of
It might not be
spray,
the smartest, but you could do it.
Right.
But yeah, switching in and out is dope.
Yeah, being able to switch mid-fight makes it a lot more versatile.
Yeah, imagine how crazy that. I mean, there is no
because you can just switch
class
spells
that can
out
do
in the middle
this.
of a fight, right?
To switch spells mid-fight this quickly. There's nobody who can do it, and you would be the only person in the planet practically who can just bonus action and be like, "Oh, now I have to spell magic." That's nuts, dude. That's so cool.
That is crazy. Yeah. But yeah, moving on to 14th level, you get lunar empowerment. Basically, now you're getting even more cool stuff depending on what phase you're in. When you're in a full moon, it's a bonus action to shed bright light in a 10-foot radius and then dim light for another 10. And then you and any creatures of your choice have advantage on investigation and perception checks while you're in the bright light. Very cool. I feel like this is kind of something at most tables would be considered a help action anyway. So I don't know how, because it's investigation and perception stuff. Like if your party is looking for something together within 10 feet of you, most DMs, I know I generally do at a table, allow a help action from one player who's not very good at perception.
Yeah, I suppose it really just opens it up to now you don't have to give the help action, so you can make a perception check of your own, and you get advantage.
Right.
That other
That's
guy already
true.
gets advantage, so
right.
now it just doubles the amount of rolls. But I
Very
get
true.
what you're saying. It's not necessarily groundbreaking, especially for 14th level, which is how I feel about this one a little bit. But
right, yeah. In the new moon phase, you get advantage on stealth checks, and while you're in darkness, attack rolls against you have disadvantage. That's moderately better. I like that.
Yeah. It's interesting fighting in darkness though. Like it doesn't come up as much as you would think.
No, you're absolutely right.
Like it's straight up darkness. You know what I mean? Like because for me, it's something that I've started
without
noticing.
it being a magical darkness.
Magical darkness, maybe, but yeah, I started noticing how little pure darkness comes up. It's almost always dim light. And it's because Allie plays a Gloomstalker in Sphinx City home campaign. So she has that ability where it's like, if creatures depend on dark vision, you are invisible to them if you're in darkness. So I need to know if it's darkness or not, because otherwise her character is invisible most of the time.
Yeah, and last one on for this lunar empowerment thing, the crescent moon, you gain resistance to necrotic and radiant damage.
I'll take
it. It's situational, but it's good.
Yeah. I don't feel like players get hit with radiant damage almost ever, but
yeah, no, I mean it really does. This whole 14th level thing is kind of meh.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with it. But moving on to our 18th level and final subclass feature, the Lunar Phenomenon. It's a bonus action to tap into a special lunar power. And you can do this if you change phases. Like, is that? I think
it's like part of the same bonus action.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah,
So
like
as you're
waxing and waning
changing-
is a bonus action to
And
change
then
the lunar phase.
right.
As
And then
part
it
of it.
basically, as you enter into this new phase, depending on which phase you enter, this is what happens. If you go into full moon, you radiate moonlight, and each creature within 30 feet of you must succeed on a Constitution saving throw against your spell save, or be blinded until the end of its next turn. Also, one creature in that 30-foot area regains 3d8 hit points. It does say each creature of your choice, which is good. That would suck. That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
This whole classes, it's okay. On new moon, if you're going into the new moon, you emanate gloom for a moment, and each creature within 30 feet of you must succeed on a dex save or take 3d10 necrotic damage and have its speed reduced to 0 until the end of its next turn. You also become invisible until the end of your next turn, or until immediately after you make an attack or cast a spell. Whoa, indeed. Yeah, really great way to get out of stuff. I would do my action, do my whatever spell casting, whatever, and then bonus action, go to new moon. Everybody else is stuck there. I'm invisible. See ya. I'm out of there.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And then finally, the crescent moon. You teleport to an unoccupied space within 60 feet. You can bring along one creature with you within 5 feet of you, and then that creature basically shows up. It's like a dimension door, like a 60-foot dimension door. And then you and that creature gain resistance to all damage until the start of your next turn.
Whoa.
A nice GTFOH button.
Yeah.
These I'm happy with. I like all of these. Full moon's mediocre, but the other two for sure are solid. And then once you do one of these bonus action things, you can't use that specific one until you finish a long rest, or you can spend 5 sorcery points to do it again. So you get one use of each one of these per long rest as you're changing phases, basically.
Gotcha. Yeah. Overall, I like it as a subclass. I think it starts off really strong, and I'm like really into the idea of the lunar phases and like changing them and stuff.
Yeah.
And then 14th level, it starts to lose me a little bit. I don't know if I would stick in that long without multi-classing out, but
I agree.
Who knows? Okay, incredible. Well, we got 2 more. Next up is the classic, the Dark Sorcerer, the sorcerer who gains powers from shadows, as we have the Shadow Magic Sorcerer. So, at first level, we get Eyes of the Dark. You have dark vision out to 120 feet. At 3rd level, you can learn the Darkness spell, and you can cast it by spending 2 sorcery points instead of using a spell slot. If you do it that way, you can see through it.
Oh.
So it gives you Devil Sight without needing to dip into Warlock or some other shenanigans. So that's cool.
Oh, that is really cool. I love that.
Yeah, it is interesting because it's like the Warlock's Devil Sight is still better because you can see through everyone's magical darkness, not just your own. So you got that.
But this lets
still,
you make a darkness bubble, and then at least you're
you'll be
disadvantaged, and so you'll be good in this darkness. Like this is definitely makes darkness a more viable combat spell.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the only question you have to ask yourself is, how are my teammates going to deal with this?
Right.
Because I cannot tell you how many times I see the fog cloud just fuck up a combat.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's at first level, Eyes of the Dark. You also get Strength of the Grave. When damage brings you to 0 hit points, you can make a charisma save. The DC is 5 plus the damage taken to bring you to 0. If you succeed, you drop to 1 hit point instead. It does not work if this is radiant damage or a critical hit. After the success, you cannot use this again until a long rest. But if it fails, you can do it again.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it just is this sort of unwillingness to die that makes a ton of sense, plays with the shadow magic idea, especially with the fact that radiant damage doesn't work for this or something, you know?
Yeah.
Dropping to 1 is very important because it means that you never went prone. You're not ever like dropping your weapon or anything crazy, you know? So solid. Sixth
very cool
level. Sixth level, we get a very cool ability. I'm a big fan of this for one reason that we'll get into. But at 6th level, you get the Hound of Ill Omen. This is such a specific ability. It's so cool. I love it so much. It feels so specific to this subclass. And I love that. The Hound of Ill Omen. Bonus action. You spend 3 sorcery points to summon a hound to target a creature within 120 feet of you. This fucking Hound of Baskerville, this fucking Shadow Hound uses dire wolf stats, except for a couple of things. Number 1, it's medium. It's not large. It's a monstrosity. It is not a beast. So it is a medium monstrosity as opposed to a large beast. It has temporary hit points equal to half of your sorcerer level. It can move through creatures and objects as if they're difficult terrain, taking 5 damage if it ends its turn inside of an object or a person. And at the start of its turn, it knows its target's location. If it's hidden, the hound knows where.
Wild.
So this is going to be insanely helpful in combats where there is a, whether it's like a BBEG or even like a mini boss, like some sort of leader on the field. That's when this ability is going to be even better when you have a person to focus fire, as opposed to just like 10 equally leveled minions. But anyway, so this Hound of Ill Omen appears within 30 feet of the target. It gets its own initiative and turn. It can only use this turn to move towards the target and attack. It can make opportunity attacks, but only against the target. And here's my favorite part. While within 5 feet of the target has disadvantage on saving throws from your spells.
What?
So the hound just being close gives the creature, the target, disadvantage on all saves against my spells. So that's dope. I love that. I love that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is this is a very much F that one guy in particular spell.
Yes, it is. And it's so cool.
I love that about this. It's so
cool. The flavor is there for days because it doesn't need to be a hound. It could be a cat. It could be a frog. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't it could be a spirit. It could be like a loved one's court. Like it could be a million things. But the idea of like mechanically and flavor wise, what this ability does is so cool to me. It puts the monsters of the DMs in like a hard scenario, similar to like your artificer with the steel defender, where it's like it's not necessarily doing the most damage, so it's never my number 1 priority, but it is doing enough with its actions, with its reactions, the opportunity attacks, like all these other little tiny things that just paper cut you to death, where you're like, God damn it, dude, I don't want to spend my whole turn taking out a fucking dire wolf. But I might have to take out the dire wolf, and then you miss an attack.
I might have to kill this fucking.
It doesn't even die in 1 turn. You're like, what the fuck is this? And you're still getting disadvantage on all saves. Anyway, 6th level Hound of Ill Omen. It's one of my favorites. I fucking love this.
Hell yeah, it's a good one.
14th level, we get Shadow Walk. So now when we're in dim light or darkness, which is incredible because 90% of D&D campaigns live in dim light. When in dim light or darkness, you can bonus action teleport to another space that is in dim light or darkness 120 feet away. That's it. Yeah, you just get that.
I like that.
I really like that a lot. Yeah. It's pretty fucking powerful.
Teleportation is fun, especially 120 feet of teleportation.
As a bonus action.
Right.
That is crazy, dude.
The ultimate Misty Step, except it doesn't cost a slot.
Yeah.
It doesn't even cost sorcery points. That's the wild part to me.
It doesn't even cost an action. It's crazy what you can do with this spell. Like, it is nuts. Shadow Walk is so good. You just need the dim light or darkness. And keep in mind, from Eyes of the Dark, you could be casting darkness in an area on the field already. So you have one. Oh my gosh. So cool. That's 14th level. 18th level. Will this subclass like fucking finish in a way that is satisfying. Let's see. 18th level, we get Umbral Form. Bonus action. 6 sorcery points to transform. You receive resistance to all damage except for force and radiant. Solid as hell. You can move through creatures and objects as if they're difficult terrain. 5 force damage if you end the turn there. That's pretty freaking strong.
Yeah.
Pretty freaking strong. If you had an object with you, like a magic item at 18th level, I'm figuring you're at 18th level, you probably have magic items, right? If you had one that let you see through walls, even just a little bit, so that you kind of knew what you were getting into when you passed through walls, the amounts of things you could change is insane. It's just nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, this lasts a minute until you're incapacitated, die, or dismissed as a bonus action. So pretty cool. Pretty strong. The resistance to all damage is honestly the biggest part there. But really, really strong. I
like all of it. Yeah, that's a great subclass.
Subclass is nice.
Very nice.
Very nice. And I have seen it multi-classed with one that we're going to talk about in the next episode, a Warlock Undead.
Okay. I gotcha.
And it was Shadow Magic and that, and it fit perfectly together.
Oh, God.
Oof. Dude's brutal.
Yeah. Wild. Okay.
Brutal.
Yeah, but that's the Shadow Magic Sorcerer. The last one for today is the Storm Sorcerer. The Storm Sorcerer. This is actually my current character's subclass, so this is one that's very near and dear to my heart.
Yes.
I love Storm Sorcery. It's really fun. It pairs very well with the Tempest Domain Cleric. Just saying. Anyway, moving on. Starting at first level, you get the Wind Speaker feat, which allows you to speak, read, and write primordial languages, which is the the elemental languages: Aquan, Aran, Ignan, and Terran. And then you also get the Tempestuous Magic feat. This is really great for getting out of a sticky wicket. It's a bonus action, and before or after you cast a leveled spell, it can't be a cantrip, you can fly up to 10 feet without getting any opportunity attacks. The thing that kind of is not cool for me is the fact that it does cost a bonus action. I wish it was kind of like free as part of the bonus action. It'd be really cool, or cost like an extra sorcery point or something instead of taking my whole bonus action, but it is what it is. Bonus action, after you cast a level spell, you fly 10 feet. Very, very cool. At 6th level, you get the Heart of the Storm feature. If it's rainy, you can spend an action to stop the rain in a 20-foot radius sphere around you, and you can end that, and then you can end that little stopping rain as a bonus action. If it's windy, you can use a bonus action to choose the direction of the wind in a 100 radius sphere around you. So just kind of that molding the winds around you, or like the storm itself around you.
Yeah.
At 14th level, you get Storm's Fury. Hold on, is that a Tempest Cleric thing?
I know it's easy when you have like multiple storm based subclasses.
Yeah.
I think I did miss one though. I think I did miss a 6th level ability actually.
Yes, the Heart of the Storm. That's what I thought it was. All right, Heart of the Storm gives you resistance to lightning and thunder damage. And then when you cast a spell of 1st level or higher that deals lightning or thunder damage, it causes an eruption of dark, stormy magic that any creature within 10 feet of you, of your choice, will take lightning and thunder damage equal to half your sorcerer level.
Which is pretty good, depending on how high level you go. But it's really good regardless, because it's a 10-foot radius thing. That's just people are taking extra damage. Why not?
But yeah, so that's the other big thing. And then the Storm Guide is the one that gives you the control over where the weather goes, and the rain and the wind and all that stuff. But the Heart of the Storm, actually, the big thing of that is resistance to lightning and thunder damage. Awesome skill.
Mm-hmm.
Moving forward onto 14th level, you get the Storm's Fury feat. Whenever you're hit by melee attack, you can use your reaction to deal lightning damage to that creature. The damage is equal to your sorcerer level, and then that creature must make a strength saving throw against your spell save, and on a fail, they're pushed in a straight line 20 feet away from you. It's a great combination, or a great way to use your kind of reaction stuff. If you pair this with a Tempest Cleric, you get to do it a little bit earlier, because the Tempest Cleric has a reaction already built in that does thunder damage, and then it's a little bit less of a push. It's a 10-foot push instead of a 20-foot push at level 6.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, this is a really nice way. This way you don't have to do that multi-class. But it's very, still very strong. DMs, watch the ledges once your Storm Sorcerers hit 14, because it's a coming.
Oh, yeah.
It's a coming. One of my personal favorite things to do in a game is to push things off of edges.
Yeah, it is solid.
Why fight the thing when we could just make it go away? Finally, at level 18, you get the Wind Soul, which grants you immunity to lightning and thunder damage. You have a 60-foot flying speed. As an action, you can reduce your fly speed to 30 feet for an hour and choose a number of creatures within 30 feet of you equal to 3 plus your charisma modifier, and those creatures also gain a fly speed of 30 feet. So you basically give half of your fly speed away for an hour to 3 plus charisma modifier creatures.
Yeah, which you figure
at
is
level
a
18,
5.
It better be a 5.
At least.
At 18, it better be at least a 5. So it's 8 things that can also fly with you. I love flying. Like I said, I never don't want to fly speed in D&D, and this is awesome.
Yeah, it's
but you
really,
can only do
really
this.
Cool.
You can only give away your flying speed once per short or long rest, but it lasts for an hour.
Yeah, it's solid, dude. This subclass is so interesting because it's so good in many regards. There's so much about it that is just incredible. I really do like it a lot. It feels very... I've never made a character that's like all about storms. So I think I would have to... there's something about it that in my head, I feel like I would have to try and find some complexity there. Like something to just make it not just be like... I'm doing lightning damage with every single action I ever take forever. You know what I mean?
Right.
I would have to find something there, but I like the challenge.
I like working with the clouds. I like the way that I flavor a lot of Cal's stuff is like as a lightning rod kind of, where Kaladin kind of charges up and then shoots a charge into the kind of like a reverse lightning rod, I should say, where Cal will shoot lightning off of his body up into the clouds and then cause this giant thunderous crash of lightning to hit the ground. A lot of cool. There's a lot. I don't know. Wind. You can do a lot of fun stuff with just the wind in general. It's like the the Goku powering up type of deal, where he gets that like aura of wind and stuff around him.
Oh yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Hell yeah.
I like storms.
Yeah, no doubt. I would just have to find something obscure and like fucking weird to make myself feel like a hipster about it. Be like, the storms that I get my power from are different actually from your storms. Your storms happen all the time. They're on the Weather Channel. My storms are on a different channel. Pay-per-view actually. My storms are special.
You got to pay for my storms.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my gosh! Or you could go the government crackpot theory of
chemtrails. Chemtrails, bro.
Yeah.
That actually is really fun. This idea of being like, well, I can control the weather. Certainly, the government can.
Certainly, they can.
If I can do it,
absolutely. I'm just a guy.
Watch this.
You think about the
Rain
amount of
stops.
money. Right.
What is this?
The amount.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing.
A lot of different fun ways to. There you go. There's like 3 different ways to play your Storm Sorcerer. Go
and
nuts.
we came up with that so fast. So many different flavors. That probably took like less than 5 to 7 minutes, which is exactly how long it takes for a cow to be milked. And I just want to say a special thank you out there to the dairy cows out there in America for providing us with refreshing and nutritious milk.
Okay.
This has been a sponsored ad from Big
That's
Milk.
all we can get into this time. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Soyouwannabeadm, or you can ask us a question at soyouwannabeadm@gmail.com. If you like the episode, don't forget to give us 5 stars in a review wherever you found us, and check out the Patreon and the Twitch with the link in the description. Join us next time for more Dungeon Master tips and tricks.
Bye.
See ya.
And now I have the honor of giving a shout out to the members of our Patreon gang. Lee, we can't wait to roll dice with you. Nub Muffins, may Paylor's light shine upon you. And there's Vanessa D, Talk Screen, and Tappy. If you want a shout out, join the Adult or Ancient Dragon gangs on Patreon. Tune in next time for more tips and tricks from So You Wanna Be a DM.